Go forth and do the things. Alrighty. So today's Parsha. Lecha tells a story about when God told Abram to take his wife Sarah and his nephew Lot and get the fuck out of Haran. What were they doing in Haran? That's a great question. So, before they got to Haran, Terah, Abram's father, decided to pack up shop, take Abram, his wife, and his grandson Lot, and get the fuck out of Dodge. Dodge being Ur. That's where they were from. He said, come on, family. We're leaving Ur, and we're going to go to Canaan. But they didn't make it. They ended up getting to Haran, and they stayed there. Now, the Torah doesn't get into why they stayed there. This is kind of the part where you have to fill in the gaps for yourself. So a few sentences earlier, it makes note that Lot's father had died, and Lot's father, his name was Haran. So the story that Hashem is showing me is that, yeah, they were headed to Canaan, but then they found Haran and went, holy shit, this is a sign. This is where we gotta be. So that's why they stayed there. And it's not till later on. Like, it doesn't get into how long they stayed there. All we know is that at some point, God sends Abram a message that says, go forth. Time to go, bud. It's time to go to Canaan. So he packs up his wife, Sarah, and his nephew, Lot, and they leave for Canaan. Now, what's kind of important, is that there's no mention of Terah anymore. It doesn't say what happened to him. All we know is that it was Terah's idea to leave her. They stopped in Haran, settled there, and then once business was concluded there, it was up to Abram to finish the trip to Canaan. Now, when I was reading the book Jewish Wisdom for Business Success, it kind of digs a little bit deeper into the story about how Terah was a salesman of idols. And that's why they went there. So that, well, I mean, that's what they were doing there, is that he was selling idols to travelers. And at some point, Abram rebelled against his father and decided to go into the business of monotheism. So we don't really know when, why, or how Hashem revealed himself to Abram. All we know is that he did. And that Abram had brass bitachon enough to trust him, because the message that Hashem gives to Abram is pretty fucking clear. Go forth, spread my word, and I will make a nation of you, and people will be blessed with your name. That's when they go to Canaan, and Abram sets up an altar to Hashem. And Hashem tells Abram, this is the land, I'm going to give this land to your family. Which makes sense, because a few parshas back in Parsha Noach, we learned that after the flood, and after Noah set up shop with his sons, he made a wine garden, a grape garden, and one night he got drunk on his wine. He got so drunk, ass that he ended up stripping butt naked. And his youngest son, Canaan, he had 3 sons. He had Canaan, Japheth, and Shem. And Canaan goes to his brothers. He's like, yo, daddy's naked. Daddy's running around naked, drunk. So then the 2 older boys, I think they were older, but Japheth and Shem, they ended up covering Noah up. And when he wakes up in the morning, he finds out what happened. He puts a curse. He puts a curse on Canaan, his son, that he will always be the slave of Shem. He will be the slave to Japheth and Shem. And that Japheth will always sleep in the tent of Shem. Which kind of like, so what does that mean? Like to me, what that means is like he's putting in a hierarchy of favoritism on his sons. Like Shem, he puts at the top of the list. Japheth is the middle child, and Canaan is like the fucker. Now the next parsha, or it might have been the same parsha, that it goes through the bloodlines of both Canaan and Japheth. So I'm assuming, I could be wrong about this, but the way that the story is laying itself out to me is, thank you, Shem, is that the land of Canaan was in some way, shape, or form a tribute to Canaan, the son of Noah. And when Abram, who's a descendant of Shem, when Abram makes it to Canaan, and God says, Hashem says, I'm going to give this land to your people, it's because the curse that was placed on Canaan by Noah also went into the land itself. Because eventually, once we get to the end of the book of Deuteronomy, and Moses has the entire Israelite and Jewish nation at the banks of the Jordan looking over at Canaan. All right, you're gonna go in there, you're gonna take this fucker over. This is our land. So that's how it's revealing itself to me. I mean, studying Torah has shown me that you gotta fill in the gaps, because the whole story's not there. I mean, but then again, like, if the whole story was there, the fucking book, you'd still be writing it. And I think that's part of the challenge that Hashem tasks us with, is to study Torah, but also, like, fill in the gaps. Like, that's up to you. That's where God of the Gap comes into play, because it's like, all right, well, Hashem, what's going on here? And I know it's kind of frowned upon to fill in the gaps with God, but at the same time, there are circumstances where that's a viable option, and one of them being when studying Torah and trying to fill in the gaps. Like, all right, what the hell's going on here? Because at first, when I was reading the last parsha of Noah, and it's talking about Haran, Lot's father, how he dies, and then, like, a couple sentences later, it's talking about how Terah decided to leave Ur to go to Canaan, but then they ended up settling in Haran. What the hell does that mean? Like, is Haran a man or is it a place? And why is there a place named after Haran? So what that actually brings me back to is an experience of my own, because I can relate to that. I actually can. Because back in 2019, I was on this like soul mission. I had been on my own path for about a year at that point, maybe a little bit more than a year, and it was a really fucked up time in my life. Like, I didn't have any money. I was living in my mom. I'm still there, but I had absolutely no money for over a year, and I was just relying on manna from heaven to come and sustain me, and it did. I mean, granted, like, I have a very, like, generous family who've been integral to my success in life. But there came a point where I knew I had to go I had to like go somewhere. I don't know why I knew. Mind, this is before, like, I acknowledged Hashem as the one God. Now that I do, I can look back and go, oh, I get it. I get that. That actually makes a lot more sense now. Because what ended up happening was I had this, like, holy shit moment. I forgot about that. I had a profit share from a company that I worked for years back. And it was like about like $3,000 at the time. So I was inspired, take that money out. This way you actually have some money for a change. All right, let's see what happens. And so I did, and I got the money. I mean, obviously there was taxes taken out, so I think I only got like maybe like $2,000 out of the $3,000. But then all of these ideas of what to do with the money started coming through. And one of the options was I had to go away. I had to go for a trip. I had to go somewhere. And originally, the thought was I had to go to Israel. I had to go to Israel. Like, I have to go to Israel. Like, I have to go to Israel. But I didn't have a passport at the time. So that wasn't really an option. And a big part of why I was in the situation that I was in was because, one, I set my last $10 on fire about 10 months prior because I kept on hearing this. I kept hearing people talk about this idea, like, oh, the universe has got your back. Universe has got your back. Anytime you need something, the universe will bring it to you. All right, well, you know what? Let's test this shit out. You like Le Tigre? The empty. I got some. So I set my last $10 on fire. That's the previous October as a protest and a sign to the universe. Now I ain't letting this shit fucking control me no more. This is my last $10. Poof. And fucking money, you put a fucking flame to money, that shit goes up like a goddamn torch. Because I had seen what money had did to me in my life that I was coming out of, and I saw how much it controlled me, and I decided that I was gonna take it completely out of my life. I needed to exercise that demon out of me. So it was like, oh, the hell? So it was like,
we're going in right there.
yeah, me too.
You go first.
No, you go first, because I'm gonna have to move for you.
Okay.
I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, we're gonna probably go up the left side anyway, mogul. I'll put your left hand side.
But,
So you can hit some pretty serious moguls. One thing you can ride along this trail. I'm telling you, better go. Thanks a lot. I just don't want you to sit there for 5 minutes.
I feel you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But, goddamn it, they're not fucking ruining the song. But, it was my protest. That I'm not letting this control me anymore. I'm not letting money control my actions. I'm not letting money control me. Because it fucked up my life already. Because, no, money didn't fuck up my life. That's what I kept on saying. Was like, money fucked up my life. No, money didn't fuck up my life. I fucked up my life. Actually, no, I didn't even fuck up my life. My life went exactly the way that it did. But I put so much. I gave enough of my power away to money that it was time to take my power back from it. And I decided that let's test this theory. If the universe really does got my back, and everything that I need is going to come to me, then what the fuck do I need money for? And so for the next year, that's what I did. I never went hungry. I never went hungry. Actually, I was smoking more pot without money and eating more without money than I was with. And it also afforded me the time to like spend all by myself, to continue my writing, continue my own journey without any kind of distraction or any kind of shit like that, because at that point I had already been on my own spiritual path for about year and a half. And the things that were happening were so intense that like I couldn't function like a regular person. I needed to invest all my time and energy back into myself and figure out what the fuck is going on here. But there came the point where that money showed up and, all right, let's do it. Obviously I can't go to Israel. So what ended up happening was I ended up going to LA. I spent like 2 days in LA, but I mean it was a 3-day trip there and then a 4-day trip back. So like in total, it was like almost 10 days I was gone. And the reason that I even ended up on the trip was I went for a walk. I used to go for a walk down in the seedy part of town. Because yeah, it's a fucking scary ass place. And I walk around with this wallet. It's not the same one that I've always had. I had to get a new one, but because the other one was falling apart. But if you look at it, it says "bad motherfucker" on it. And somebody used to say and think to myself, like, if I'm walking around with a bad motherfucker wallet, yo, I better be a bad motherfucker. The same reason I got my son's name tattooed on my neck. I remember my wife and I, well, no, I don't think we were married at that point. My partner and I, we were walking around the mall. I think we were walking the baby around, and we were talking about, because she got his name tattooed on her arm, and we're talking about getting the tattoo. And I remember walking, and I saw this fucking bad-looking Puerto Rican dude walking by, and he got a name tattooed on his neck. He looked like a hard motherfucker. Definitely a dude I would not fuck with. But I said to her, I'm like, yo, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting his name on my neck. Because when you see a dude with a fucking with a tattoo on his neck, you know not to fuck with that guy. Because that guy I wouldn't fuck with. So that was the inspiration for that. But so what I used to do is I used to go walk down to the fucking the part of town that you don't fuck around in. And I had a set route that I would take. So I would get onto the main road, and then there would be like a point. Like I don't cross this street. I don't cross here. This is it. Because that's a scary place. This is where I stop. I turn and I go back. Not that like. I'd walk there during the day, during the night. And I always heard like bad shit about that place, which is why I went, because it's like, yeah, it's scary, but the only way to get over fear is to fucking face it. And I had some fucking wild adventures there, this day being a particular one. So I got to the point where I usually stop and turn around, where I heard the voice in my head go, just take a couple more steps. Just go down to the next block, and then you can turn around. And on my way to the next block, I walked past this Quickie Mart, and there was a dude standing out front, and I knew this dude. He was a homeless guy that I met weeks, maybe a couple weeks or a month or two before. I met him right after he had like just gotten out of a rehab, and it was clear to me that he did not clean up his act like he said he was going to. So I have all this money on me, and we started talking, and he asked me if I got any money for rock that he can borrow, crack rock. So I'm like, fuck it, you know what? When in Rome. Because there was a bunch of drug dealers that were outside of the Quickie Mart, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll get you a rock, just give me some pot. And that's where it started. We smoked the pot, we smoked the rock, then we went to the liquor store, bought some liquor, then we went to his buddy's house, we smoked more crack. I gave him more money to go get us more crack. And crack, I don't smoke crack on a regular basis. It's one of those things. It's like, right place, right time. I guess. I mean, over the course of the next like week, I smoked more crack than I've ever smoked my entire life. But that's actually a good thing. Part of my job, part of my mission, part of God's purpose for me, and this sounds wild, but is to find godliness in ungodly things, and that smoking the crack, drinking the vodka, smoking the pot, that was what broke the chain holding me back, going, all right, motherfucker, you keep on talking about making this trip, you're gonna spend all this fucking money, go, now. So I went home, I packed up a bunch of shit into my book bag. My mother's like, what the fuck are you doing? I gotta go. I grabbed my shit, hopped on a bus, and then I bought a ticket for LA, a Greyhound ticket for LA. Because it was one of those like now or never fucking type of things. If you don't do this now, you're never gonna do it, because you're gonna keep on making excuses. And my boy, you're high as hell right now, and if there's any better time to do it, it's right this second. Thank you, Hashem. And part of the reason that I knew I had to go on that trip, right, because I didn't have a destination. I mean, there's more to the story as to why I chose LA. And a lot of it had to do with the name. Because what I kept on hearing, what the message was coming through to me was that you go to the city of angels and you're going to find an angel. But what I need you to do is trust. Trust that this is what you have to do. Now, I get into bitachon another time, but I didn't know what bitachon was at the time. Bitachon wouldn't reveal itself to me until this past summer, so all of the, like over the past years, I keep on getting this message, trust, just trust. You have to trust. I don't know where the fuck it's coming from, but all I know is like, I continually like listen to it and go, all right, I'll trust. So this summer when I found this class on developing bitachon, I don't know what the fuck it was. It was a 16-hour class. After the first hour, I went, holy shit. I got bitachon. That's what that is. Holy shit. It's been God this whole time. It's been Hashem this whole time. Trying to help me fucking build up my bitachon. Yo, I got fucking rock hard bitachon. I promise you that. I got like Abram level bitachon. Noach level bitachon. Jacob bitachon. Uncle David bitachon. No, I got bitachon for days. Because it's like seeing is believing. If I watched that class sooner, I wouldn't. Yeah, okay. But it was like, I love this example. Like, so when I first played Final Fantasy VII, when Final Fantasy VII first came out, I had maxed out the clock on the game hours and hours and hours before I even finished it, because I took the time to get almost all of my characters up to level 99 and to develop as much master materia as I possibly could. You only know what I'm talking about if you played Final Fantasy VII, experienced Final Fantasy VII. Because my philosophy is this: be over prepared. Be over prepared. I went into that final boss fight with Sephiroth, and I fucked his day up. Like, it wasn't even a contest. Like, I felt bad because of how fucking badly I brutalized that fucking final boss. Not saying it was easy, but once I whooped the ass out of him, it was just like, hell yeah. That's why we fucking over-leveled like that. So it was like Hashem was over-leveling me, so that when I finally made it to the bitachon class, I could look at it and go, oh, that's the thing. I get it now. Well, that's good, because now that I know that it's God, I can now go back and reinsert God into all the gaps of, why am I doing this? I don't understand what this is all for. So that's the project that I'm working on right now, which I have to get back to as soon as I'm done with this, which is going through 5 years worth of journals, reliving all of those moments and putting Hashem into the gaps, fill the gaps with Hashem. Because I know that God of the Gap is a practical practice. Well, just because we don't know how it was done doesn't mean it was God, right? But once we know that there's a God, then we can backtrack and start filling in the gaps. Especially when it comes to our own story, because I'm not talking about a fucking clock. I'm talking about my own life. My own life that has had like spiritual and unexplained phenomena taking place for decades, not just over these past 5 years. The spiritual awakening aspect was actually, I had already been initiated into the fucking the world of mysteries prior to that. I just didn't get it. I didn't understand it. Thank you, Hashem. So while I was in LA, another part of that trip, like I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know that this was gonna happen, but the Greyhound station is in fucking Skid Row. And I don't know if you've ever been to Skid Row in LA, but that place makes the seedy part of town look like fucking kindergarten. Not really, but they're two different places. I didn't know. I honestly didn't know if I was coming back alive. I remember when I got off the bus, I went, all right. So this is the ultimate test. If I'm not meant to die, then the universe will protect me. Which I can actually go back to that and go, well, if I'm not meant to die, then Hashem will protect me. And then that was part of the thing too, was the voice. It kept on saying, like, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You need this. You need to see this. And part of the trip, part of that experience was to help me develop my intuition, listening to my intuition. Because the reason why it went the way it did, once I got off the bus, and the shock of what the hell happened over the past couple days kind of wore off, and I could collect myself, I realized I don't know where to go. I don't know what the fuck to do. Where do we start? What is your feelings telling you? Trust your feelings. All right. So I remember I was walking down this one street, and something said, make a left. Make a left. And there was a dude there. And I asked the guy if there was anywhere close to get something to eat. And he was kind of like, I don't know. I mean, this place is all over. All right. So then my intuition said, all right, turn around. Walk that way. And I did, and that's where I found this restaurant. It was like beer and fries. I think was that was the sign that was out front. I don't know what the hell it was called, but they had a bunch of craft beers and gourmet fries. And one of the missions I was on, so there was this book series that I used to read. I'd like to get back to that, please, Hashem, thank you. Was the Sandman Slim series by Richard Kadri. I like that. He's a good author. But he had just finished the last book of the Sandman Slim series, and he had posted on Twitter. He's like, all right, so the next series we're gonna follow Stark. That's the name of the main character. We're gonna follow Stark around L.A. and he's gonna go to dive bars, doing magic, doing card tricks for free drinks and phone numbers. And I saw that tweet and I laughed because that's exactly the type of character that Stark is. But then I'm like, yo, that is totally something I would do. Yo, that is something I totally should do. So that's what I did. That was part of the inspiration to go to LA. And when I found that fucking place, Gamsu Latova, this too is for the best. When I found that restaurant in LA, that's literally what I did. There was this really cute bartender, and so I sat at the bar and I was talking to her the whole time. And I was kind of telling her what I was doing and why I was in LA, and we hit it off. And she was cool. So I had brought my tarot cards. I didn't just bring my tarot cards with me. I brought my demon cards with me too. So I have this oracle deck of demon cards, and they're demons from Uncle Solomon's Goetta. It's claimed that these were the demons that King Solomon had command over, and I had been using that deck for over a year. It was a great deck. I still have it, but then I started thinking. I'm thinking in my head, so I pulled out my cards and I started reading her cards for her, and and she ended up feeding me all of these mojitos. Then I stayed and helped her close up the bar. So then she took me out. She took me out for blunts afterwards. We sat in her car, we smoked some blunts. Then she dropped me off in Chinatown at a hotel and gave me her phone number. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I was really drunk at this point, but I'm thinking and high. And I'm thinking in my head, like, yo, we're not even here 24 hours and we pulled it off. Thank you, Hashem. But the next day, we were supposed to go to the beach together. The next day, but she never got back to me. So at the time, I was like, also kind of like fucking shook because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. What the hell am I doing in LA? Why am I in Chinatown? What the hell am I supposed to do from here? And so for most of the day, and the hotel wouldn't give me a room for a second night. I had enough money, but they wouldn't give me the room because I didn't have the security. Like, yo, nigga, I was just fucking here, dude. Yeah, but you don't have the security deposit. Fuck out of here. So now I'm in kind of like a shit place, and I ended up just sitting outside the hotel for like a bunch of hours because I bought my first stop after I got off the bus was looking for a dispensary, and I got like a bunch of packs of gummies. And yeah, on the way home, my bag got raided. I remember we stopped at a bus stop, and all these undercover narcs, like they fucking flooded on me. And the fucking one of the guys, like, he pulls out the badge, and he's like, all right, what do you got in here? What you got in here? And he was being cool. I mean, he wasn't being like a dick, but he just caught me off guard. And luckily I ate the last ones like the night before. And he finds the bags and he's like, all right, these are empty? I said, yeah, there ain't nothing in there. He's like, all right, here, let me throw these away for you. And he was actually a really nice guy. He cleaned up my book bag for me. But the day that I spent in front of the hotel, I think I ended up talking to some random dude came up, we started talking, blah, 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 blah. But at one point, like, I lost all hope. I gave up. The days moving on, I don't know what the fuck to do, I don't know where I am, I don't know anybody. And so I said, fuck it, you know what? The sun is setting on the west, let's just follow it. Let's go westing. And whatever the fuck happens at this point. I don't give a shit. If he dies, he dies. Rocky IV reference. Like, I didn't give a fuck. So I started walking west, following the path of the sun. And I walked for maybe like 10, 15 minutes, and I get to this one cross street. And it's red light, cars are coming, right? So I gotta stop and wait. And just something took my attention to look up, right? And I see the street sign. I see the street name. And the street name is Kingsley. Now that ain't gonna mean shit to nobody but me. But I don't know if this You probably can't read it, but it says Desmond Kingsley. Kingsley is my son's middle name. I know, it's an awesome name. I came up with it. I remember too, like when my partner when she was pregnant, I went to work late that day because I wanted she was getting the sonogram. I want to go. And they took the picture, and you see his little weenie, and his little cock and balls. We still have the picture. And I remember driving into work after I left, and it just came. Desmond Kingsley. I fucking called her. I called her immediately. It was like a boosh. And I called her up right away. I'm like, yo, his name is Desmond Kingsley. I don't give a fuck what your parents say. I don't give a fuck what my parents say. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. This is my call. Desmond Kingsley. That's it. Because where did the name come from? Because when I was younger, the Misfits are one of my favorite. The Misfits is my favorite band. This is actually my aunt's. But I remember this one Misfits album. It was live, and Jerry Only comes up and he's like, yo, we got Des Cadena from Black Flag, and I fucking just love that name. I've only heard it like at that point in my life, I only heard it like maybe like 2 or 3 times. This was before Lost. I remember when I was telling people his name, they're like, whoa, did you get that from Lost? No, what the fuck is Lost? Even though Desmond was like one of the cooler guys from Lost for a little bit. But then where did Kingsley come? So that was Desmond. Like Desmond was a name that I wish I had. There was a point in my life where I didn't want to be called Derek. I wanted to be called Desmond. I love that name. But then Kingsley, it was before she was pregnant. We were in our apartment and we were just kind of just chilling out, drinks, watching a movie. And we're watching this Wes Anderson movie, The Aquatic Life of Steve Zissou, starring Bill Murray and Owen Wilson. And as the movie progresses, spoiler, you find out that Owen Wilson is Bill Murray's long-lost son that he didn't know that he had. And they're having a father and son conversation at one point, and Bill Murray says to Owen Wilson, he's like, if I was there when you were born, I would have named you Kingsley. And I remember hearing that. I remember him saying that. I'm like, the fuck kind of name is that? Kingsley. Like, it doesn't roll off the tongue very well. It's just Kingsley. I mean, I like it, but it's just, I don't know. There's something, like, it's rough around the edges. So, but I liked it because it's kind of obnoxious. I like obnoxious names. So when Desmond Kingsley came to me, I'm like, yo, that's the shit right there. But when I saw Kingsley, I was on Kingsley Ave. And mind you, this is like a week before his birthday, too. I'm like, all right. This is a sign. So relating this back to Tara and Abram and Sarah and Lot, so I can relate to their side of the story where it's like, all right, we're getting our asses over to Canaan, and they're on their travels, and then they see Haran and go, yo, holy shit, did you just get goosebumps? I got goosebumps. I think we're supposed to be here. Yeah, so what did you do when you found Kingsley? I walked down it. Oh. So fucking Kingsley Street. What am I supposed to do? Oh, okay, that was cool. No, I thought I took a picture of it. I'm kind of pissed because I went looking for the picture a couple years later. I couldn't find it. But I ended up walking down Kingsley, and then it only went down like maybe like half a mile or so. I don't know. I'm not good at judging distance. And plus, this is like fucking 4 years ago. But I ended up walking all the way to the end, and it came to Hope Street. And I noticed that the direction in which I was walking, because I think I might have been walking north at this point. So I'm walking up Kingsley, I get to Hope Street, and then I see in the background, I see the city. Now, I don't know the city, but I know that I came from that way. Because I remember seeing the other side of those buildings over there, because that's where I came from. So that's where I made a challenge to myself and to the universe, Hashem. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna walk this way back to the bus station. Because if I'm seeing Desmond's name, if I'm seeing Kingsley, then that means I probably got to get home. But if I'm not supposed to get on the bus, if I'm not supposed to make it to the bus, then something will stop me. And fucking hell, this was probably around like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the maybe, I don't know, 4? I mean, the sun was already past the peak. It was already like in the west, more west than anything else. But at this point, it's probably around like 4 o'clock. It ended up being a 2-hour walk to get back. But I did find it. Like, no directions, no shit. My phone was fucking dead. Like, there was no, like, I just had to use my intuition and my fucking better judgment to go, okay, let's try this way. And I made it back. But as soon as I got back into the general vicinity of where I was at, there was a homeless guy that I met. I met him by his tent. I'm like, you know what, fuck it. Stop by there. If he's not here, keep walking to the bus station. And so I got to his tent. His name was Green. And I remember I lifted up to his tent thing. I'm like, yo, Green. And he wasn't there. And I'm about to walk away and I hear, yo. Did he call Toxic? Yo, Toxic. I forget, like, you know, I tell people, I introduce myself as Toxic sometimes to people and I forget. So sometimes people will call Toxic. I'm like, what? The fuck do you know that name? You told me. That's what you said your name was. Oh, fuck. Okay. I had that happen in Dallas once. I went to this bar. I was at this bar, the One-Eyed Penguin. And I had to go get drink. I had to go back to my hotel room to get my money. But when I got back to pay the bill, these two dudes were like, yo, Toxic, what's up, bro? I'm like, who the fuck are you? And they're like, what are you talking about? You're the one who told us to come here. Oh, you got any pot? What? You a cop? No. But I need some pot. Meanwhile, I think I had pot in my room. I don't know. I think it was just like I needed it in the immediate moment. But yeah. So I say, yo. I look over and there's Green across the street. I'm like, oh shit. All right, here's my sign. Guess I'm not supposed to go to the bus station yet. So I went over there, I talked to him a little bit, and then he went on his way. And just something, my intuition, Hashem, like said, walk down this street. All right, bus station's over there. Fuck it, walk down this street. Okay. And that took me on this adventure where I went into like the really fucked up part of town. Like you ever seen those videos of people who fucking do the bath salts and they fucking go into zombie mode? That's where I was at. I remember there was this one lady, she's just standing in front of a brick wall, kicking the goddamn wall with her foot. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening here? There was people just shuffling through the streets, and this is fucking daytime too. It's not even at night. The nighttime, I don't know where the fuck everybody went. No, I knew where they were. That was even fucking scarier at night. So this ended up happening. Like, I kept on going, like, kept on getting stopped Like there was something that would stop me and have me like either talk to a person or at least observe my environment. And it ended up with me in front of this crack den at like 3 o'clock in the morning with this like 60-year-old OG from fucking Compton. He was cool as fuck. I met him standing out front the bus station because I finally made it to the bus station. Like 12 hours later, I finally get to the fucking bus station. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And there's this fucking dude standing out front, standing up on the street. This OG. And he's like, yo, man. So we start fucking talking. And then he asked me if I want to hit off his pipe. I'm like, fuck it, all right. When in Rome. So we started swapping stories, we're talking, and he asked me if I want to go take a walk with him down to the crack den to go pick up some more. And, yo, this place was scary as fuck. It was right on the main street, too. But he went inside. I was standing out front, waiting for him. I was just kind of handing him money. And while I'm standing out there, like, it's fucking dark. Hold on. It's dark. It's scary. And then there's like these 2 or 3 zombie people just fucking shuffling through the streets. Like, just walking back and forth. Like, it was really fucked up. Ugh, God. It's Hashem. Why would God bring you there? To show me what rock bottom really looks like. Yeah, you know, like your life back home, might seem fucked up, it might seem crazy, but try to imagine what the fuck these people are going through. Now, mind you, I had also, I'm a registered recovery coach. Well, I'm a certified recovery coach. And when I was working with the organization that certified me, like I started to realize like this place is horse shit. This is bullshit. The guy running the place ended up being a pedophile. He got busted for fucking trying to bring a little kid home, an internet bust. He tried getting like a teenager to come to his dad's house so he can give him a massage. This is like a fucking 7-year-old man, dude. But you know what? Like I knew it from the minute I met that dude. Like I knew his energy was just, there was something kid touchy about it. I knew it. So when someone tipped me off that he was into kids, 1, I wasn't surprised. 2, I didn't want to place judgment. But yeah, there was one day I just gotten WhatsApp. All of my contacts on WhatsApp, all the contacts on my phone went on a WhatsApp. And I remember seeing him, and there was a picture. His picture on WhatsApp was him blowing a banana, like a banana with whipped cream on it. And he was like giving it a blowjob. I'm like, what the fuck? So, I had smoked some pot that day. You're a recovery coach smoking pot? Yeah, I went to some meetings high too. But their thing, it wasn't pot they were trying to squash. It was opioids. We'd be out on the fucking streets in fucking Atlantic City, handing out fucking meth. What is it? Narcan, sandwiches, waters, peanut butter jellies. I was on this one trip where we had to fucking take this homeless dude to a rehab. I don't know if the dude was ODing next to me or what, but he fucking nodded right the fuck out. But he had shot up before we left. Or before he met up with us. That was a wild mission. But yeah, I see this dude fucking blowing a banana, and I'm like, what do we do? What do I do? What do I do? Does nobody else have him on WhatsApp? Does nobody else see this? Like, this is a problem. Because someone just told me that he's the kid toucher, and now he's blowing a banana on here. So I don't know, I messaged him, I was like, yo, hey, Bob. I couldn't help but notice your picture. And I just wanted to say, go you for owning it. And I'm like, what are you doing, you asshole? So he fucking got back to me like minutes later. Oh, no, that's not my picture. I didn't put it there. Hackers. They're constantly trying to spoil my reputation. So hackers, they put that picture there, and I just leave it. This way it just stays. This way nobody just hacks my picture. All right. That's so weird. Okay. But the thing that I learned about being with Recovery Force, because that was the name of the place, Recovery Force in Atlantic City. I don't hear about them no more. But one of the other guys tried to bring me back to his place. He wanted to bring me back to his apartment. He was an older gentleman, and if you were to ask me, he was of the homosexual persuasion. Which, hey, I don't judge. Run with it. But listen, I ain't giving it up. It don't work like that. Trust me. I got tested once. My partner and I love calling her my partner because I can imagine that like irking her. You motherfucker. We went to she used to hang out at this gay club all the time, and she invited me to go with her and her friends, and we were trying to buy Coke from this transvestite named Desire. Desire, by the way, was like a 6'5". Do I say woman or do I say man? A 6'5" transvestite with fucking hands the size of fucking bear claws. Got these fucking bear mitts. And she won't sell us the Coke. Why? Coke dealers, that's literally their job, is to sell cocaine. I know. I've been around drug dealers since I was fucking small. Well, since I was a teenager. I know all about drug dealers. My father was a drug dealer. But Desire refused to sell us any Coke. I'm not selling you nothing until he admits that he's a faggot. No, I'm not. I'm having sex with her. Yeah, well, I know your dick's getting hard over me. What? I say, here, you know what? You want to see? Here, go ahead. Take a grab. Feel how mushy it is. It's all shrunk and shriveled. You let the tranny put her hand down your pants? Yeah. Why? I knew. One, it was a test. It was one, this way we can get our Coke. And two, this way I can prove it to myself. Right? Did you get the Coke? Of course we got the Coke. That was a long time ago, though. I think that was in like 2005. So what was that? Like 18 years ago? Yeah, then we went to the bathroom, we did a bunch of Coke. That was a wild fucking place. I remember one day, like, this dude came up to me. Because the first time that they invited me to go out with them, I remember we walked in, it was the four of us. We walked in, and they were going out to the dance floor, and I went right to the bar. And I'm ordering my drink. I forget if it was cranberry and vodka or if I was drinking White Russian. I forget. But I'm just standing there, and the fucking bartender comes over. I think even before he took my drink order. And he's handing me these little shot glasses. Like, oh, the gentleman over there bought you a drink. The gentleman over there bought you a drink. The gentleman over there bought you a drink. Really? So I got my drink. I got my 4 little shot glasses for free drinks. And this fucking big dude comes, this fucking tall dude comes walking over, this older guy. Hi, I'm the one who bought you a drink. Which one? Thank you, but I'm straight. Oh, would you like another drink? Yeah. I didn't even finish mine yet. And like 20 minutes later, I go back to her and her friends. Where the fuck were you? I don't know, everybody at the bar was buying me drinks. And I remember that's a thought in my head. I'm like, why the fuck doesn't this happen at a straight bar? Why can't I have women doing this at a straight bar? That's when I learned what a twink was. And my girlfriend, I call her my girlfriend. My girlfriend at the time, that's when she taught me what a twink was. And she said, you're a twink, that's why. And all the gay men, they love twinks. So the next week, I think we went a couple weeks in a row. And then we started recruiting our other straight friends to come with us. And I remember sitting with my best friend. We were sitting there, and they had TVs up on the rafters, and they had like all these men dancing in G-strings. Like, he was so uncomfortable. And on the TV, they're playing gay porn. He didn't know what to do. He's just staring at the floor. No, but the next week we went, like, I already have it in my head. I'm like, all right, I'm going for more fucking drinks. These motherfuckers, they're going to buy my drinks for me? I'm going to take full advantage of this. So I made sure to wear, like, my tightest shirts. And I would go to the bar and lift my shirt up and just put my hand on my hip. And I would put a little bit of an inflection on my voice. This way, the vibration would echo out to the rest of the bar. Did it work? Yeah, of course it worked. Oh, memories. So what does that have to do with Torah? I don't know. Hashem, what does this have to do with Torah? It's no coincidences. Because those experiences right there, right? So besides with the whole crack rock in LA, weaseling gay men to buy me drinks. Like, all of those dark times in my life, even letting Desire grab my dick so that she would sell us a bag of Coke. Like, all that dark shit was a part of the bigger picture of my life, which is leading us to me speaking this sentence right now. So that's how I relate. That's how I can relate to that story with Haran, and then ultimately God telling Abram, "All right, time to pack up, move shop, bud. You did everything that you could do here. Now it's time to mosey on down." And that same thing happened to me. I remember this too, because it was in the summer of 2018. It was after my wife and my son moved out, and I quit my job to devote all of my time and energy into reading cards for people, because I had been, over the course of my awakening process, I had been drawn to cards, but I wanted to know why they worked, how they worked, how astrology worked, why astrology worked, and like I wanted to know like the deeper aspects of this stuff. I didn't want to just do it to do it. I wanted to know how it works. This way, like, I could explain it to people, because one of the intentions that I had set, once I had really started to find myself digging deeper into these things, was like, my intention is I want to be able to explain it to anybody. I want to be able to explain astrology to somebody who doesn't believe in astrology in a way that they can understand it and go, oh shit, I never even thought of it like that. So at the time, my job, like, I was driving 2 hours a day. I was driving an hour there, an hour back. Plus I'd spend like 6 to 8 hours a day there. I was salary. So what I would do is, like, I would just bang out a week's worth of work. I would bang out a week's worth of work in like 2 days, and then just spend the rest of the time just doing whatever the fuck I wanted. I had a whole floor to myself. The big ass fucking room. It was like a 2-minute walk. Well, I mean, for the most part, it was a 2-minute walk for anybody to get to my workstation. From anywhere in the building. Well, I mean, from most of the places in the building, but so I took full advantage of it. Plus, I was making like $65,000 on salary. Hell yeah. Plus, I had worked it out with the owner that I don't have to work all 40 hours. Like, when you're done, you can go. All right. But what I realized was that the job was just taking up so much of my time that it had to go. I could sense that they wanted to fire me because I was making too much money to cut costs. It was just more cost effective to get rid of me, but they didn't fire me. So, but they started putting restrictions on me and make me like telling me I couldn't do I had to work 40 hours a week. Plus they wanted me to hand in timesheets to people. And it was just like, what the fuck? This is not what I got hired for. And so I rebelled. And what I ended up doing, I made this automated system that would clock me in and clock me out every single day. This way it looked like I was there for 8 hours. But then I got busted. Which then soiled my reputation, but it was just like, alright, whatever. Let this be a testament to how fucking resourceful I am. And you know what? It actually worked out to my benefit because I didn't have anyone over me except for the COO of the company and the owner. So when they finally like sat me down, it's like, well, I don't want this guy is not my boss. I was told I don't have a manager. I do my own shit. Like I was told, like I don't have to do all these things. Like I don't know where all this is coming from. And because of everything that I did and said, all of those restrictions were lifted. And by that point, it was just like, all right, good. Because I don't like taking shit from people. I left. The last place I left to come here was putting shit on me. I ain't gonna deal with that shit again. I remember one day the COO he comes into my